Welcome to the introduction for Theo Tab, the theologetic table of evidence for sound Christian theology and apologetics. Theo Tab is available at the website theologetics.org. Theologetics is a Christian theology and apologetics ministry. Theo Tab is available for free in multiple forms by going to the Tools section. Here you can see that the Theo Tab app is available for iOS, Android, as a web app, and as an interactive PDF. The purpose of Theo Tab is to outline a basic evidence of God, Jesus, the Bible, and sound Christian theology and apologetics. This will help us offer a straightforward approach to understand and organize a cumulative case for the truth of Christianity. Theo Tab can be used to build a strong foundation of Christian theology and apologetic knowledge, which can be applied when sharing the gospel or defending the faith. In this video, we'll cover the basic functionality of the app, we'll discuss how the table is organized, and we'll discuss how to quickly interpret each element. When you first open the app, you're taken to the Search, Questions, and Objections page. Let's say you're talking with a non-believer, or another member of your church, who asks about the resurrection of Christ. You know some things about the resurrection, but you want to know more. You can search for resurrection. Theo Tab will provide a list of resources to learn more about the resurrection and how it relates to other theology and apologetics concepts. For instance, there's a topic for the death and resurrection of Christ. If we click on the magnifying glass at the very top left of the app, here's another example. You're a Christian, you're new to apologetics, or you don't believe in God or Christianity. Simply expand the Questions, Objections drop-down, located here, and you can see some pre-developed questions. By clicking on them, it'll take you to a page which is really an element of the table that will provide some answers for those questions. Again, clicking on the magnifying glass, we can get back to the Search, Questions, and Objections page. Now, let's go to the actual table by clicking on the upper left-hand icon. It'll look like a miniature periodic table. Here, we're going to focus really on the right-hand side of this page. So we'll focus on this portion of this page for now. What you'll notice is that the elements are grouped by concept, argument, or other information. The table is organized into 5 main sections. We can see that there's a section for God, Jesus, the Bible, and Christianity. The elements at the bottom are considered foundational elements that all of the other sections build upon. We won't go into the details of each section in this video, but as you can see, each main category is made up of many elements. These elements combine to give a detailed and thorough understanding of each main category. Next, we'll look at the left-hand side of the main page. This describes the basic element structure for each element on the table. As can be seen here, each basic element has a number, an associated color, a name initialization, a category, as well as a type. You can see that each element has a numerical value. This numerical value has 2 numbers separated by a period. The first number corresponds to the section that it belongs to. So you'll notice that the 1 in each of these sections explain to us that it was referring to God. If we move over to the second section, the 2 explains to us that that is in the Jesus section. We can see that the colors correspond to each of the main sections that we described before. The name initialism will become more aware when we dig into one of the actual elements. Each element corresponds to one of 5 different categories. And the type of element corresponds to 3 different options. When we're looking at a root or foundational element, things are a little bit simplified. We still have a name initialism, but our category for all of them is foundational. So if we're looking at a specific element, we can easily know that the 1 here corresponds to the God grouping. The plus sign corresponds to evidence. The C corresponds to scientific evidence for God. So we can easily, once we've practiced and once we've learned a little bit about the structure of each individual element, we can easily see how that element relates to the larger picture of Christian theology and Christian apologetics. We can click on any of these elements. You'll see that they'll shade as we scroll over top of them. We can click on any of these elements and we go into an actual more detailed section that gives us more evidence and gives us related information and significant resources. This video will intentionally not talk about any of the specific arguments. Instead, it's meant to just show you an overview of how to use the tool. If we go back to the theologetic table of evidence, the main page, if we click on the information button, it actually takes us to a guide for how to use and a basic explanation of theologetic table of evidence. So anytime you need to come back and review this, it's here for you in the top right corner. We can clear that message reminding us of that. The other valuable feature is what we call this hamburger menu up here. If we click on that menu, we can see that we have multiple different views and we have different organizations of the elements. So we can go to the table view, which looks identical to clicking the table view in the top left corner. Or we could go to a numerical list. This will actually list them root elements and then basic elements where they're in numerical order, not only by the first number, but also in order by the second number, the whole way down. We can go back up to this menu and go to a categorical list. This will break them down into foundational, historical, mathematical, philosophical, scientific, theological. We can go to an alphabetical list of all of the elements. And these are based on the name of the actual element. We can go to a foundational list of elements. Each of those will allow you to click into God's nature, logic, math, science, archaeology. Each of these is a link that we can click on. So if we want to learn more about prayer, we can click on prayer, and it takes us to the prayer element. We can also go into each category, each of the main categories. So we can go to God, right? And here you'll see a list of all of the specific elements associated with God, as well as a general overview of the God category. This is also true for Jesus, as well as the Bible, and Christianity. So there you have it. This is our primer for using the Theo Tab app. If you have questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them in the comments section below or connect with us via our website or Twitter. Look for more videos on theology and apologetics.